So the next story happens after Jesus and his disciples heard that John the Baptist had been killed. They decided that they would go away, that they would find a quiet place to rest. But their boat was next to the shore. And people saw Jesus. They recognized the disciples and they started running. And people from town to town knew that this was Jesus on the boat. And so they ran ahead and they got there before Jesus did. So when Jesus got out and stepped out on the shore, he saw a great crowd of people. And he looked at them and he felt great concern for them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. So he taught them many things. And by that time, the sun was going down. It was getting late in the day. And the disciples, they said, "There is nothing here, Jesus. We need to send them away. It's getting late. They need something to eat. Send them into the villages where they can buy some bread." Jesus looked at his disciples and he said, "You give them something to eat." What? How? That would take 8 months' pay. We don't have that much bread. Should we?
No.
Should we give them food? Are we supposed to give them loaves of bread?
Yes, and Jesus told them to. They're supposed to.
That's right. If Jesus told them to, they might ought to listen. So Jesus did. He said, "Now go, see how many loaves of bread you have." So the disciples did. They went off. And when they returned, they showed Jesus. He said, "We found 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish." And Jesus said, "Okay." So he took the loaves and he took the fish and he looked up to heaven and he gave thanks to God for it. Then he broke the bread into the pieces and he gave it to the disciples. And he said, "I need you to do something. Tell the people to sit in groups of 50, groups of 100. Have them sit on the green grass and then put this food in front of them." And so they did. And everyone ate until they were satisfied. They had all of the bread and all of the fish that they needed. And when they were done, the disciples went and picked up all the pieces of fish and all the pieces of bread that were left over, and they had 12 baskets full of leftovers.
What? We don't know how big those baskets are. They could be bushel baskets like the apples. They could be bigger. They could be,
Like,
who knows?
they could be like as tall as God right now.
Do you know that oftentimes when Jewish people, when the Israelites, when they would go somewhere a little far from the home, they would take a basket with hay so that they would not have to stay the night somewhere. They didn't have to stay the night with a Gentile. So they brought a basket with enough hay in it that they could sleep on it, that it would make a bed. So that's about how big the basket was. Yeah.
Probably about like this by this.
The disciples were amazed. They were shocked and they couldn't believe it because the number of men that ate that day was 5,000.
Plus, if you pack that hay down, you'll get extra in there.
That's true. You could get
So-
extra in there.
Like, it could be very small too, because you can pack hay.
It's possible.